Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Brian Hubbard. When people think of police officers, they typically think of enforcing the law. But being a cop also means serving the community in all kinds of ways. The Edina Police Department has a long history of participating in local charity events, some of which have a global impact. For the third consecutive year, Edina police officers participated in Feed My Starving Children's Mobile Pack event, hosted by Christ Presbyterian Church. Here, police officers volunteered their time hand-packing meals for distribution to malnourished children in 70 countries around the world.
We really have it good in life, and we really want to just try to give to those who are less fortunate. We try to pack as many meals as we can, and we have a lot of fun doing it, and just make a competition out of it.
Feed My Starving Children is an organization that was initially brought to the attention of the department by its chaplain program. Chaplains not only provide officers assistance with sensitive situations such as death notifications, they also draw attention to community outreach opportunities. When people call 911 to report a medical emergency, they often expect paramedics to arrive first. In reality, police officers on patrol are usually closer in proximity and are often the first responders. Edina police officers are CPR certified and have been trained to operate an automated external defibrillator, a device that is usually the first response to a cardiac or heart event. Let's go to Fire Station Number 1, where firefighter paramedic Ryan Quinn and Officer Keith Berger will give us a demonstration of an AED in action.
Thanks, Brian. My name is Ryan Quinn, new co-host of Beyond the Badge. Here with a familiar face, Keith Berger. Thanks for coming by, Keith.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Today we're talking about AEDs and how we're using them here in the city of Edina. Keith, what is an AED?
An AED is called, it's short for Automated External Defibrillator. Automated means it's completely automatic. All I do is turn it on and it tells me what to do. External means it's external, it's outside the body, it's not inside or internal. And the defibrillator is just for shocking the heart. It's just the name of the equipment. And this small little box right here takes the place of what you would see in like an emergency room or the old school TV shows with the pads that you rub together and put on the body.
When would you use an AED?
I would use an AED if I'm the first or second to arrive before any paramedics and we have a patient that is pulseless and breathless or non-responsive.
And you guys generally arrive a few minutes possibly before we do as paramedics. Most people think that it's just the paramedics that would arrive on medical emergencies, but as first responders and EMTs, you guys are really kind of the core of giving a cardiac arrest victim the best chance to survive.
Well, most of the time we are there before the paramedics because we usually have 4 to 5 people out on the road at any given time. Typically gets us closer to the medicals than you would. So when we first get there, we will determine if a patient needs the AED or not.
Would you like to go through and show us a demonstration of how you'd put it on?
Sure. So I check the patient, hello, make sure they're non-responsive, check for breathing, check for a pulse. And when I find neither, I will either instruct CPR to continue or instruct CPR to start. I will get my pads out of the machine, and we keep them already hooked up. One less step for us to do. This one's going to go on the right chest. This one's going to go underneath the left arm. And then I turn my machine on.
That machine gives very easy prompts.
Yes, and it tells you what to do next. So I connected my electrodes, and then when the machine can tell that everything's working.
And once it tells you to connect the electrodes, the machine will say, analyze rhythm.
Yep, so then I push the analyze button. When it does that, it'll tell me if it's a shockable rhythm or not, because you can't always shock a heart. So it'll tell me if I can shock and if I can't. If I can, I get everyone clear so no one touches the body, and then I'll push the shock button, check for a pulse. If there is a pulse, great. If there isn't, CPR will continue.
And I think it's very important that we work together on these cardiac arrests. Once you've used the AED and we get there with our LifePack monitor, what we'll do is we'll just disconnect your pads and we'll hook them right into ours. And we can continue on analyzing the rhythm. If it is a shockable rhythm, or if it's another type of rhythm where we don't shock.
That's one thing that the police department, fire department is good at, is getting compatible equipment. We don't have to change anything that we've done. We just simply change the mode of the shock delivery.
And it's only got 3 buttons, which is great for the police officers.
Yep, we're not as smart as you with all the buttons over there.
We've got a lot more buttons. Luckily, they're color-coded, though. Well, Keith, thanks a lot for stopping by. That was a great demonstration. Appreciate it. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Ryan. The captain of the Edina Police Reserves recently retired after 16 years of service. While he enjoyed his time on the force, Browder Stone says it's just time to move on. Edina 16's Dietrich Neeson spoke with Stone about his experience in the reserves.
Browder Stone still fondly remembers his first day with Edina's Police Reserve.
It was quite exciting. We went on a couple of medicals, and you know, it was something that I had never done before, and it was just very exciting to be able to help people.
Despite living in Minneapolis for decades, Stone chose to serve Edina. He says the city's reserve force offered more challenges to its volunteer members.
Like in Minneapolis, you were just basically a traffic cone, and that was it.
Whether it's patrolling parks, providing security at city events, or role-playing suspects during SWAT training, reserve officers need to be available.
We're the extra set of eyes for the officers, so we check all the parks, the schools, things that the officers don't always necessarily have time for.
Sam Mack replaced Stone as the reserve's captain.
Browder was the role model for anyone, you know, giving 16 years of his life to the program and building what it's become. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'm going to miss the people. It's been a great experience with all these people and from different areas of life. It's going to be tough to leave all those people.
In Edina, Dietrich Neeson, Edina 16.
Reserve officers usually work 10 hours a month and take Friday or Saturday shifts. If you're curious about what it takes to join the police reserves, visit the department's website at www.edinamn.gov/police. And lastly, the Edina Police Department has entered the 3rd month of its year-long Focus In educational campaign. This month, we are highlighting the Minnesota statute that focuses in on unsafe equipment. Failing to keep a vehicle properly maintained can threaten its operator's safety, but also the safety of those who share the road.
You know, some things are a minor problem, some things are a major problem, and what we really like to focus in is keeping your vehicle maintained, because the minor things can become major. So, you know, if you have one headlight out, you have reduced visibility when you're driving down the road at night, but that second headlight could go out and now you have no visibility. So all those things should be maintained as soon as the problem is noted, and that's why we like to stop drivers and let them know what's going on.
Every month throughout the rest of 2013, we'll highlight a specific statute to improve public awareness of the law and to encourage public compliance. It's important to understand that adherence to these statutes improves the quality of life here in Edina. On behalf of my co-host, firefighter-paramedic Ryan Quinn, and the rest of the Edina Police and Fire Departments, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.
Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.